Hey guys, this is Nathan and welcome to the Gaming 4. Today in this Unturned Devkit tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use 3 Devkit exclusive tools, and they're really cool and you've probably actually heard about a lot of them, but I'm just going to go over them with you guys today and make sure that you're familiar with how to use them. Alright, so the first place you need to go to find these tools is the type browser. Now, like normal, there's a window for that. If you go to Windows panel, type browser, right near the middle top sort of area, there's a window there, and for me that is down here at the bottom. Now once you're in here, you'll see 3 areas, and 2 of them don't do anything: framework and unturned. I think those are going to be places for mods maybe in the future, but so far the only one that actually contains something is the core sort of folder. Now within the core folders is a bunch of cool tools. I'm not going to be going over all of these today, but I will be going over kill volume, landscape hole volume, and player clip volume. And of course there may be a few others in here that are pretty necessary, but those will be something for a different video. I know foliage system and some of the other stuff, foliage volume, game mode, that it gets a little more complicated, so today hopefully we'll be able to just cover these 3 and you guys will be able to start using them in your maps. So let's start with the player clip volume. Now, in order to spawn this item, you actually just click on the name sort of here, and you can make multiple of them show up pretty easily. And they always spawn about, I don't know if it's like 20 meters or something, but a certain distance away from your screen, and always in the center. So something to keep in mind, you won't really be able to interact with these unless you've got the selection tool selected. So once again, go to Windows, Tools, and get the selection tool out, and that's going to be how you move and manipulate these objects. Also, something to keep in mind is once you select them, you can see their position and scale. If you're not really familiar with the selection tool and everything you can do with it, go back and watch the last video I did. I really went over it in depth, and that'll really help with using these objects. Also, if you guys go into your hierarchy, you should see the player clip volume in there. Also, if you spawn any of these other things, they will show up there as well. So let's talk about what it actually does. Now, player clip volume is pretty decent. It's kind of useful, really only maybe in a few certain circumstances, but pretty much what it does is it's just a box that the players cannot run through. So let me use the scale tool a little bit to expand it. We actually can probably test this out here in a bit. So we've got this player clip volume. Obviously we can make it different sizes. We can rotate it all using the selection tool, and what we can do with this is just block off areas that we don't want players to go into. It's pretty much as simple as that. With these volumes, you can still place items inside them. I think you can spawn vehicles still inside them, but the only limiting factor is that you just cannot have players inside them. Also, if a player is riding in a vehicle, the vehicle will run up against it and will not be able to move through it as well. So that's pretty much it for the player clip volume. They're really pretty simple actually, and I'm going to place one of these right along the side of this house. So I'm just going to put this through the windows here so that we cannot get out of them. So let's move on to the kill volume. Now the kill volume is sort of self-explanatory. It comes in this nice orange color, and you pretty much manipulate it just the same as the player clip volume. So the scale tools work just the same, and the only real difference is that instead of blocking players, this will actually kill players. So obviously we want to be really careful when using this. It's definitely a powerful tool. You can do some cool things with it potentially, but yeah, that's pretty much what it does. And I'm gonna put this one on top of the roof so that we can test it a little bit later as well. Also, before we move on, there's a pretty cool thing about this one. If you look at the inspector here, it's really cool. There's a couple options that come along with the kill volume. So first of all, we've got this huge list here, and it's really actually quite extensive. And we also have these checkboxes. So pretty much what this kill volume does is it kills the specified sort of entity type. So if we wanted to kill players only, we can uncheck these 2 and make it so it's only checking players. Or if we wanted to kill zombies perhaps and not players, we could make it kill zombies and not players. So for testing purposes, I'm going to leave it on players only. I could make it actually on vehicles only. That's a pretty cool one as well. You could do a lot of cool stuff with that. But just so you know, there's like a lot of different options that you can do with this. Also, what's pretty cool as well is you've got a death cause here, and you can choose what they die by when they get killed by this kill volume. So let's say you want to have somebody get killed by a grenade whenever you get to the rooftop. You can definitely do that, and all the death cause is really going to do is maybe in the server logs and in the chat log or something, it'll say so and so died by whatever you choose here. So that's pretty much it for the kill volume. Let's move on to the landscape hole volume, and this is probably going to be the most useful and definitely the most well known. So just like the other two, all you have to do to spawn one is just click on it, and once again it spawns it right in your face pretty much, and from there you can move it around like normal. Now this one I'm sure you guys know about, and you know it's pretty self-explanatory as well. It just removes the landscape, and pretty much you can move through this hole that it makes. Vehicles can go through the hole that it makes. You can make the hole 3D as well. Obviously you can make it a little bit larger than that, and it's pretty simple, just like that. You can just move it around and it just removes the landscape. As you guys may notice, when I move it across and into the house right here, it doesn't actually remove the object. So that's something to keep in mind. You cannot remove any objects, and that's actually something interesting you could do. If you wanted to remove a section of grass, but you didn't necessarily want it to be square, you could use the grass object. Let me see if I can find it. Here's one of them. You could use something like this, sort of to customize this shape. So that sort of gives you an option to have something other than square. You could sort of customize it with the object grass. Obviously that's not the right color, but I think grass number 1 is the right color. So, you know, there's some cool ideas, cool stuff you can do with this as well. It's also really nice for making caves and related things like that as well. So just for testing purposes, I'm going to leave it out there. That'll be easy one to test because we'll see it right away. So anyway guys, let's go into the actual single player and let's test these objects and make sure that, you know, we understand how they behave in game. Alright guys, so here we are in the single player world, and as you guys can already see, we can see that the player, not the player volume, but the whole volume is working already. So obviously I can sort of test that for you guys. I'll throw the helicopter down there. Let me bail real quick. Actually, I can throw the plane in here. And that's pretty much just going to go through the map. Apparently I'm in here as well. And as you guys can see, once you fall through it, you're sort of just down here in the water underneath the map. Alright, so that's pretty much what the whole volume is. Let me test the one other one, the player clip volume, and then we'll test and see if the kill volume actually worked properly. So the player clip volume should be right here in front of these windows, and as you guys can see, it's working properly. I'm pressing the forward arrow and I'm not able to get through here. Also guys, something you may notice is that it's completely see-through. There's no way you can tell it's there. It's pretty much like the border on the outside of the world as well. So especially when you get into these newer maps where the border is no longer there, if you want to set one up, that would be a good way of doing that. So the last one we need to test today is just the very top, the kill volume, and theoretically it'll only kill me and not the helicopter I'm flying in. So as I'm on the death screen, you should be able to see the helicopter just chilling there. Alright guys, let's descend into this kill volume here. And let's see if it does its job. Okay guys, so what's actually interesting is while I was in the vehicle, the kill volume didn't actually apply to me, which I think is a good distinction to make because, you know, I guess when you're inside the vehicle, it doesn't count you as your own entity. It counts you as your entity within a vehicle. So in order to kill players within vehicles, you also need to have check the vehicle setting. So anyway guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully this helps you guys understand how to use these tools, and hopefully you guys will be able to incorporate these into some of your future maps. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you want to see some more. I will see you all